what the Lord has done for me, that all judgment was poured out upon Christ. And some people go, well, can God still judge? Of course He can still judge. He just doesn't need to. Come on. It's not His ability to judge that's going to take away. But what about Ananias and Sapphira? Listen, God can do whatever He wants to do. But there's no need, there's no demand for judgment. Because it's all been fulfilled through the body and blood of Jesus Christ. And so this church is founded and based, and these fellowship of churches that are gathered here are really founded around a belief system where we just believe that Jesus has done it all. That when He said, "It is finished," He wasn't talking about just the experience on the cross. He was talking about the full penalty of sin. You know, even the psalmist foresaw this. He said, "Bless the Lord, O my soul," Psalm 103. "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and don't forget any of His benefits, who forgives all my sins and heals all my diseases."
That's right.
And the word "all" for sins is the same word "all" for diseases. And people have all kinds of funky theology when it comes to healing. They're like, well, maybe it's not God's will to heal me yet. Maybe it's not God's timing to heal me yet. Okay, well, let's just take the Psalm 103 method where it says, "Forgives all my sins and heals all my diseases," and apply the same language. Maybe it's not God's timing to forgive you of your sin yet. How does that work for you? Maybe He wants to teach you something through your sin first. So you should suffer in your sin a while until you learn your lesson, and then God will forgive you. You would never apply those same bad theologies to healing that you do to forgiveness. Because you understand the complete work of forgiveness, but you haven't understand that in that cup is also your healing. That by His stripes, in this broken bread, is my healing. By His stripes, I'm healed. I've already been healed by His stripes. In this cup, in this bread, I have already been healed. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Don't forget any of His benefits, who forgives all my sins and heals all my diseases. And then Jesus comes on the scene. And of course, as our friend Bill Johnson says, that Jesus is perfect theology. You know, I'm not really a fan, forgive me if you have this on your car or a t-shirt, but I'm not really a fan of what would Jesus do, because why don't you ask Him? That almost poses it like it's a hypothetical question or a rhetorical question, like, you know, I wonder what Jesus would do. Well, why don't you ask Him? He dwells in you. Or how about this? How about what did Jesus do? Because He said the same works that I did, you will do also, and even greater works, because I go to the Father. So, you know what? Before you go to your what would Jesus do, why don't you go to what did Jesus do, and just do that for a while. And Jesus healed every single person that ever came to Him. Every single person that came to Him. We do a study on that in that healing school CD back there, where we go through all the alls, where He healed every sickness and every disease and all these different things. We go through the theology of that. And so, all I'm saying today is that what part of finished don't we understand? It is finished. All the sin nature, all the judgment, all the wrath, all the sickness, everything attached to the curse of mankind was reversed. And I love this fact that I started preaching the gospel when I was 15 years old. I'm 49 now. And it just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting more wonderful the whole time. Never wanted to backslide. I don't even know what that is, but because it just keeps getting so much better. But for years, I used to think that when you gave your life to Jesus, it was like, and people told me this, it was like going back to the Garden of Eden, and you get to start over, and you get to try it again. And so it was like the divine do-over. Go back to go. We'll clean you up a little bit. We'll recycle you, and you can try it again. And then you go, and you mess up, and then you go back to start again, and you go, and you try it again, and you mess up, and you go back again. And it's like, I found out that the Garden of Eden doesn't help me. That's the treadmill of sin. That's exercise I don't need. And in that realm, you have a greater sin consciousness than God consciousness. You're more conscious of your own feelings than you are of the finished work of Christ and the presence of Christ in your life. And this is what I found out. Probably most all of you know this because you're at one of these churches. One of these finished work churches. But when you got saved, you were not made in the likeness of the first Adam. You didn't go back to the garden to do a divine do-over. When you got saved, you were not recycled, cleaned up, and given another chance. Try it again, little buckaroo. Just keep going. You were not made like the first Adam. You were made like the last Adam, Jesus Christ. You were made like the God-man, Jesus Christ, who never sinned. So you weren't taken back to the garden. You were taken up to the throne to be seated in heavenly places with Christ Jesus. And you're no longer part of the Adam's family. Hallelujah. They're creepy and they're kooky, mysterious and spooky. They're all together ooky. The Adam's family, that's what you were. But it's not what you are. So all I'm saying is that the same is true for your healing today. Listen, guys, as we take of the brokenness of Jesus, and as we take of the cup of His suffering, the cup of His blood, the cup of His sacrifice, let's remember that by His stripes we were healed. Let's remember that that healer is who He is. You know what? In the Old Testament, people called God by a lot of names, and a lot of times they get the name. Like, I'm going to call you Jehovah Breakthrough, you know, because you're the God of the breakthrough. The Lord's like, yeah, that's cool, that's accurate. It's like people coming up with nicknames for God. But you know what? Jehovah Rapha is a name He called Himself. I am the Lord who heals you. So, when God heals you, He's not really even doing something. He's just being who He is for you in a specific geographic situation. You don't have to convince God to be who He is. You don't have to convince Him. God, you're a healer. I know you're a healer. I believe you're a healer. You know, it's like, yeah, you don't have to convince Him. He's pretty sure He is a healer. He called Himself healer, Jehovah Rapha. And so today, as we take of this cup, listen, there's no pressure on you to be healed. There's no judgment on you if you don't get healed or anything like that. All I want you to know is that the Lord took this for you too. He really did. There's healing virtue available in this room right now. And I want you to know there's not an ounce of judgment in this cup because of Jesus Christ. And if you'll just come with that belief system as we partake of the cup together, that it's finished. That it's finished. He has done it. He has triumphed.